LifeSpeak podcast sponsored by Chafin Real Estate Services. Ready to find your dream home or maximize your rental income? Visit chafinrealestate.com or call 775-575-5000 today.
My name is Leanne Chaffin, and we are here again at the LifeSpeaks podcast, where we're sharing stories of life, and they come mixed with tragedy and hope. But we are excited that we are continuing our podcast with Cheryl Wahlgren, and this is part 2 of this podcast with Cheryl. And so we're going to start right in on a question that really a lot of people don't understand. You may have even experienced this in your own life, and maybe you're in it right now. So this is a very important question, and the question is, what is domestic violence? And have you experienced it in your own life, or just watching your daughter? How does you know?
You know what, I think we see it in many people in our world. Domestic violence is one person using their power to control another person or a situation. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of times we take that as a good thing, mm-hmm. but there you have to draw a line at some point. Most cases of domestic violence are committed by males, but that is not exclusive.
Right.
Our children. How many times have we spoken hurtful words to our children? Elderly people, you get tired of repeating yourself to older people, and sometimes your words become very abrasive and abusive.
Well, even women to men. I mean, I've seen that.
I was going to say, men are abused by women. Mm-hmm. You'll find a home where the woman is the predominant one in a family. Is she using her words in a abrasive way, or is she mm-hmm. controlling their life in a loving way?
Mm-hmm. Manipulating.
Right. Domestic violence is the largest single cause of injuries among women mm-hmm. in our hospital emergency rooms.
Wow.
And our children, too. I mean, how many little ones are...
Right, and yes, that's definitely...
Mm-hmm.
So why does domestic violence happen, in your opinion?
In my opinion, it works. Mm. If I use strong word with you, you'll come back more meek.
And when you say strong words, you mean...
I think
because I've experienced this. It's where someone makes you question yourself, like I'm...
Right.
Like,
an abuser wants to know that they're in control.
Right.
They do.
Right. So they'll put you down.
Yes.
To lift themselves up.
And I also think there's a very thin line between being aggressive and assertive. If you're aggressive, you could be borderlining some of these
tendencies.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some of these actions rather than being assertive.
Yeah,
and
assertive
using
is
your
where,
word.
Yeah, you can assert yourself without putting somebody else down.
Absolutely. You sure can, even in a very, very bad situation.
Right. I think that when you're insecure in your own self, and I've experienced this myself, and you don't have a safe place to be assertive, like you're assertive one time and all of a sudden that's not a good thing, you know you're in a domestic abuse situation. So what I'm saying is, like, Michelle had to go out to earn a living, right? She had to go out to earn a living. And all she says is, I'm going to be gone at 2 and I'll be back at 6. And then for the next 15 minutes, all she probably got was, well, where are you going? What are you doing? When are you going to be back? How's it, what am I going to do? Those kind of questions, even though they seem subtle, Those are control and manipulation. And so, anybody in that relationship, it could be men or women, it wouldn't be a teenager. That's your parents' right to ask you where you're going, But in this case, where an adult with an adult is feeling questioned to the nth degree, that is not a normal relationship.
And it erodes a victim's self-worth.
Yes.
And when someone does this to you and they end up with what they wanted, it worked. So the next time they're a little stronger,
Yes.
a little more assertive.
Yeah. Because they saw that it worked. Like you said, it worked.
It
That
worked.
domestic violence, even though it doesn't look like violence yet, it's
a beginning cursor.
Yes, it's a beginning cursor. Okay. So are there different kinds of abuse as we're speaking about it? We kind of went over a little bit, but go ahead.
There are. For instance, and these start out with being loving, and then with time, they get more aggressive because it works. For instance, a spouse will say, you're just not mentally right. Or you're drinking too much liquor. Or you don't need to be taking antidepressants. All those things can start out, you use these things to be helpful, but after a while you start getting questioned. And then you begin to be fearful of retaliation. And then, this one's very common, you isolate yourself.
So you don't tell anybody what's going on.
No.
Because you want your spouse to look good to everybody else.
And you want, they're trying to make you a better person, right? By making all these demands on
right.
you.
Oh,
Emotional demands.
Interesting.
And a victim often truly, truly loves their abuser.
Right.
So, how the heck do you stop? You isolate yourself, then they begin to neglect you.
Yeah.
Or there's even cases of a lot of stalking where a husband or a wife or a mother or a father will start watching where you're going and what you're doing and questioning it. Another type of abuse is verbal abuse. That's where they're going to get you.
Right.
They start making hurtful comments or degrading you.
Right.
I mentioned before that Michelle's husband would wake her up in the middle of the night. That is a sign of abuse,
Really?
of domestic violence.
I did not know that.
If a person's sleep is interrupted, they're not getting a full night's sleep, and then they get scolded. It's in the back of their mind. What did I do? They become afraid. So you become more submissive.
Interesting.
Okay?
Interesting.
And then your abuser will often say, if you would just listen to me, well, I've heard that a million times.
Yeah.
If you would just listen to me, things would be so much better.
Oh, wow.
Another kind of abuse is your physical abuse. Now, this I personally think starts when you're a child. Have you ever seen a little child that will come up and pinch a baby?
Yeah.
And then the baby screams, well, that's funny.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not funny.
No.
That is a beginning of an abusive behavior.
Okay.
When you get into school, how many little girls have had their hair pulled? And the little girl screams. So the abuser has gotten a reaction.
Right.
Biting.
Wow.
Brothers and sisters sometimes bite each
Well,
other.
yeah, that's true.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then, okay.
My brothers definitely use that.
Or your goofing around and they kick you.
Mm-hmm.
With a mother, with a baby, you shake them.
Mm-hmm.
These are all things that need to be understood and addressed
That are not right.
and done out of love, not out of punishment.
Right.
Then you get even a little more. Husbands and wives start slapping. Next thing you know, you're punching. Somebody's got a black eye, a bruise, broken bones.
The punching part I really can relate to.
Sure.
For me, my first husband, he never punched me, but we had several apartments that had holes in the wall.
There you go.
But it's
It's
scary.
a matter of time before it's you.
But also it was fearful for me, and I knew he was definitely drinking. Frank was a really charismatic, wonderful guy, good looking. When we were married, but he was an alcoholic. He was a gambler, and to keep the light off of him, he would
Absolutely.
focus on me to be the bad person.
My children's father was a police officer, and he beat the holy bejesus out of me.
Oh my God.
I think the abuser often loses patience. They don't know how to make it work. So the stronger they are, the more they're going to be able to control you.
Right.
More
right. I left during a time where he was on a gambling binge, drinking binge, gambling binge, and I just took my daughter and I left. And
That's the key.
yeah, but I had left so many times before and come back. So that's part of the sick behavior because
I've heard that the average woman goes back 7 times.
Yeah, I bet I was right there. And then
I didn't.
I think the reason why I finally did leave, honestly, was I was afraid for my daughter, that she'd be raised in that conflict all the time. And my relationship with my dad was bad, and I didn't want my daughter to have to see that.
And statistically, that's exactly what happens.
Right.
But most women,
Don't leave.
they don't leave.
Yeah. And
They're afraid to leave.
how long was Michelle and her husband married?
About 4 years.
Okay.
But like I said in the beginning, she was married 4 times.
Right.
So this had to be her fault. She was just sure of it.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been. As her mother, I would say her intellect got her in trouble. She would find this wonderful guy and marry him, and then after a while, they're an idiot. And then they become paranoid about the fact that their wife is smarter than them. And
Yeah.
so how do they control it?
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. So so you've got some lists here. So punching, so black eyes, bruises, broken bones. We could put holes in doors in that one.
Right, choking them, like you said.
Yeah.
Choking, throwing objects at them. A lot of times it'll start out that way, where they'll, instead of actually hit you, they'll throw something at
Yeah.
you.
I had a
And
TV
then-
thrown at me.
Oh, good. Did you duck?
I did duck. Well, it didn't get. It was pretty heavy. It was one of those old TVs, That was like a big one, but it was, just to show power, not to hurt me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But it hurt.
Well, even with a child, you start with a hairbrush, a curling iron, something like that, something that's in your hands, you throw it. You've got to have more control over yourself
Right.
than to allow somebody, because it'll just escalate.
Right.
There are some people even that under physical abuse, they will withhold food from their children or their spouse or their elderly parent, food or water or medical treatment. Above we were talking about punching and stuff. Oh, you're just fine. I remember Michelle cut her thumb with a plastic knife. And Rick told her, oh, don't be such a baby. She definitely needed stitches. She didn't go get them because he did not abuse her with that knife. she cut herself.
Right, but still
it-
withholding the medical
He
treatment.
he said that it was absolutely ridiculous that she would go in, and when I looked at it 2 days later, she definitely had needed stitches.
Goodness.
So, and then you can get as bad as physical abuse and murder.
And murder's the end all of all. So the next one we are going to talk about is economic abuse.
That one, I think, is a little sketchy. Usually in a marriage, there is one person or another who will take care of the bills and making sure that payments are done. But victims are often left out of this. My daughter did not have one thing that was in her name. Not a car, not a house. They owned a home. Everything that they purchased after she was gone, I found out she owned nothing.
You know, it's interesting. There's another part to economic abuse I just thought of. So my second husband, and both my husbands are not living. My current husband is living. We've been married 27 years, happily to Kurt. But my second husband was Middle Eastern, a good man. But if we bought, or if I bought anything that wasn't given permission to, he wouldn't hurt me by words. He would not talk to me for 2 weeks at least. So that's a passive-aggressive abuse.
Absolutely.
So it's withholding communication. And it was just as painful to me as, it was a form of punishment, of course, but it was just as painful to me as if somebody had hit me, because I didn't know what to do with it. And it affected the children, even though the children probably don't remember that, you know.
I think also often a spouse will take care of all the bills and then question you as to what you've purchased.
Yeah.
I think that's really common.
It's common in more ways than we can even imagine. If you have I love the way Kurt put it when we got married, you know, we will live within our means, which means this. This is the parentheses. If you spend outside of that, then we're not honoring God, and we're falling into a trap. So I have always, not always, I've learned that over the last 27 years, this is what we do. And we've been very blessed. I'm very grateful. But he's never questioned me, which is so amazing.
I've been married to my husband for 42 years, and my husband is a very analytical man. So he is taking care of everything, and he just, don't worry your pretty little head about it, it's fine. Well, you know, at some point, I know I'm capable, but at some point I had to say, I need to know where things are, where account numbers are. You've got to take care of yourself.
Yes.
Many years I just let it go because he was in charge of a financial department.
That's one thing women really need, or even if the women's taking care of everything and the men don't know anything.
They need to know.
Everybody needs to know, because one of them could pass away at any moment, and you need to know. I have a really good friend that her husband left her with $500 a month. That's all she had when he died.
I remember that friend.
Broke my heart.
Yep.
Broke my heart. So anyways, there's abuse post-death too, you know, because now she was living on nothing. So is there a solution to the actions in our lives?
Absolutely.
And what would that be?
It's your responsibility to take care of yourself. That doesn't mean being assertive or abusive. That means taking care of what is right for you, not with anger, but with logic, education. You need to, everybody's got struggles. Every one of us has struggles. Right. And we need these struggles to develop our character.
Don't you think, because I was raised in a home with a lot of fear as a child, I didn't think I was worthy to stand up for myself.
Oh, I think that is a generational thing too.
Yeah. And so, now that I'm older, I know that my value and my worth is in my faith in Christ alone. But when I was younger, I didn't understand that. I didn't have the strength and the courage to stand up.
And we're showing our age, but in those days, men took care of women.
Or we were supposed to let them,
We were supposed to let them, and I did. I mean, there's so many things I didn't question.
And we're not talking women's lib here. We're just talking
Not
about...
at all.
We're talking about women. So in the Bible, Adam and Eve, she was created to be a helper, not an enabler, but a helper. Not a control freak, but a helper, and not one to be abused, but a helper. And so we need to know these things. And you're valuable. Whoever's hearing this, you're valuable, you're worth. If you don't know your value and your worth, I know that over the next many podcasts we'll discuss this a lot more, is that Christ paid for your life on the cross.
Amen.
So that you could be valuable, so you could know your worth. And I'm gonna leave that there. But that's where I found my worth, and that's where you found your worth. And so you can be strong in these things. So I'm gonna let you get back to your list because I love it.
No, I think that is a very good point. You are in charge of your own destiny. You are the only person that can fix it, even if you are the abuser yourself. If you're the abuser, own up to it, figure out how to correct it.
Get some help.
Get some help. There are so many places that will help you. Education,
That's so great that you said that, Cheryl, because sometimes we focus on the victim, and here is such a great thing is, and I'm going to go back to my faith again, is, Jesus died for all people. The abusers too, the ones that probably are repeating abuse that they experienced.
It's learned behavior.
It's learned behavior.
Learned behavior. You just have to become aware. And I think it's very, very important that people, this whole podcast, we're talking about victims. Are you the one that's the abuser? If you are, darn.
Yes.
Identify it and work with your whoever, your child, your elderly person. Work on ways to not make these things that bug the heck out of you become overwhelming.
Right. And also, just if you can't speak directly to the person that you're involved in because you're just going to go cycle back into a bad behavior,
that happens.
Reach out to a counselor, your pastor. Maybe you have a best friend that just knows you inside and out, and they won't just give you sunshine and rainbows. They'll tell you the truth, which is so important, And don't do it by texting or phone call. Get a face-to-face with somebody.
Face-to-face, you have the emotion.
Yeah, and you can see the love in their eyes because they do love you if they're a part of your circle. So we're going to start concluding here, but where can domestic violence victims get help?
Well, first of all, you have to identify that you've got this problem and that you truly want to have a better life. 911, of course. That's what my daughter did. She called 911, and because of that, those tapes were used in court against him. Your law enforcement, we work along with law enforcement, and they want to help these women.
Right.
They know where the shelters are.
Right.
Most people don't, and that's the object. So find the shelter. Your health care provider.
Right.
Just your simple doctor. If you've got that bruise or broken bone, open your mouth. Stand up for yourself. It doesn't mean you're going to be hateful to the person that has done it to you, but you've got to get help for yourself. There's counselors. There's therapists. You mentioned your faith community. Your faith community is huge. There's social service, even your employer, even in your employer.
Right.
And my daughter's employer said, I knew they were having problems. I wish I'd have known it was this bad.
Right.
They would have
exactly.
helped her. Right.
Yes. So, in conclusion, I love these questions that you have, your statements. Why don't you go ahead and...
Love is not supposed to hurt. That's so important.
Yes.
Identify yourself. Are you the victim? Are you the one causing this problem? And in conclusion, I would like to read a poem that is by a Paulette Kelly, and it's called I Got Flowers Today. This so reminds me of my daughter. I got flowers today, and it wasn't even my birthday or any other special day. We had our first argument last night. He said a lot of cruel things that really hurt me. I know he's sorry, and he didn't mean those things he said because he sent me flowers. I got flowers today. It wasn't our anniversary or any special day. Last night he threw me into a wall and started choking me. It seemed like a nightmare. I couldn't believe it was real. I woke up in the morning sore and bruised all over. And I know he's so sorry because I got flowers today. I got flowers today, and it wasn't Mother's Day or any other special day. Last night he beat me up again. It was much worse than any of the other times. If I leave him, what will I do? How will I take care of my kids? What about money? I'm afraid of him. I'm scared to leave. I know he must be sorry because he sent me flowers today. I got flowers today, and today was a special day. It was the day of my funeral. Last night he finally killed me. He beat me to death. If I only gathered enough courage and strength to leave him, I would not have gotten flowers today.
Thank you, Cheryl. I wanted to ask you one more question about forgiveness. Here's the grace of God in so many ways that when Michelle's husband tried to take his own life, he shot himself through a part of the brain that caused himself not to remember. He lived.
He says he doesn't remember.
Maybe the brain was the grace of God, but he's still in jail for 2 life sentences concurrently, right? Is that
There
how?
will be, the judge has promised me, there will be no way he will ever be let free again.
Okay.
And my son and I did not want the death penalty for him,
Yeah.
whether it would have been premeditated or not. But we didn't feel that revenge would have taken care.
Any other thoughts on that one part? I was just...
I think that it's interesting that he shot himself through the throat, and it went through his eye. He lost the sight in his eye. It took out part of his brain. And this man, when I saw him in court, it was so interesting. This big, strong guy was just a mere shell of a person. So he's not only took my children's lives, but he's totally ruined his own. I wish he'd have gone for help.
Yes. I wish he had gone for help, too.
Yeah.
Because we'd have Michelle and Christopher here.
In my heart.
Yeah, in your heart.
Leanne, thank you so much for this.
Yeah, well,
And
thank
I
you.
Hope,
I hope you know that I love you and I honor you, and I'll always
I do.
hold you close to me.
Oh, you
and,
were right there during all of this, and I appreciate
well, Kathy was there because I was in Arizona and you had flown home, and Kathy and Doug were right there. Thank God for them, and Fred, of course.
Of course.
And we came later, but my heart was broken during that time because I can't even imagine
I can't imagine.
what you went through. And I love you've taken the power back that somebody else took from you.
Absolutely.
And that, to me, is watching a mighty woman of God walk through this in such grace, and such joy and such power that the enemy of our souls cannot have you.
Can't have me.
That's right.
Can't
and so
have me.
I really, really want to thank you.
I'm so happy to help you.
Yeah, God bless you.
And I hope we helped someone out.
I do too. We will. I really believe that.
I hope
and,
so. God
And,
bless you.
and I hope whoever's listening to this today, watching this, listening to this, maybe you're on a walk or just getting out of the house because you are afraid, you're scared, you're trying to figure out how you're going to turn things around at home. Maybe you can't turn things around at home and you need to call one of the women's shelters. Call 911 first before it gets too bad. Please do not allow it to get too bad.
There are so many people that will help you.
Yes. And if you're an abuser, if you can't call somebody, get on your knees and cry out to God because he's there for you.
He is.
Yeah. So thank you.
I love you.
I love you too.